Your significant other's opposite sex friend, they grew up together and they call them their sibling. Like, oh, it's like my sister. Oh, it's like my brother. Yeah, but they're over visiting you guys one night. And during a drinking game, you find out that they slept together years ago. So what happens next?
They're going to stop calling each other brother and sister. That's for damn sure.
You probably saw a future with that person. Maybe you wanted to marry that person. And now you're still keeping in touch.
I can't stop myself from feeling. But I can control my actions.
Cheating can be great in a lot of areas.
Got me feeling good today.
Welcome to Jam session number 3 with Jazz
and Montez.
All right, today we are going to be talking about friends, lovers, and exes.
Jam session number 3 is sponsored by New Beginnings. That is nu.beginnings with a Z at the end. If you like the hoodie, go support it. There's a lot of other ones as well. They're pretty sweet.
All right, well, let's get into some of these questions. Your significant other has a best friend who is the opposite sex who likes them romantically. Your significant other says it's okay to remain friends because the feelings aren't mutual and nothing inappropriate has ever happened. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm going to be honest with you. Because I'm not getting into a relationship that's not built on trust anyway. I'm also just not the jealous type. And if something is going to happen, it's going to happen whether I'm trying to prevent it or not. If she really wants to, she's going to make that move. It is what it is to me. And it's going to be what it's going to be.
Right. Okay. So if they were to spend time together one-on-one often or ever, that doesn't matter or that doesn't bother you?
I would assume that she would respect me enough not to.
Well, if you're a best friend with someone, you most likely would be spending one-on-one time together.
Yeah, but he'd also know that he'd know who I am. He also know who my family is. So he would think twice. But then also I would assume that she would respect me enough to, it takes 2 to tango. So it's not, I would assume that.
Well, for me, I think part of respect is like having boundaries, with those type of friendships.
Yeah.
But that would be the choice of the person that's in that friendship.
Right.
So yeah, I think out of respect for the relationship, those type of friendships have to.
So is it more respectful for her not to go or more respectful for him to allow her to have the free range to be the human she wants to be?
No, I think it's like it's on her to be whoever. It could be the guy too who has a best friend who's a woman.
But for this scenario, I
think it's more respectful for her to choose not to spend time with someone one-on-one that she knows.
What if the one-on-one is like a lunch date?
I mean, that's still a date. And he's interested?
I mean, by definition, anything is a date. You can go on a date with a coworker that's the same sex, that's completely platonic. It's still considered a date.
Right, but we're talking about a best friend who's also interested in you.
Yeah.
And more.
But I don't want to get strung up on the word date is my point.
Right.
They go out to grab Costco gas. It doesn't matter like what the activity is if they go one-on-one.
I don't think it's respectful. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Would you leave it open for him to make the decision?
Yeah, of course.
And if he makes the wrong decision, then what?
Ooh,
the ex. Get that man out of here.
It's going to be an issue for sure.
Okay, understandable. Yeah. Definitely understandable.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, right? Because just one more thing. I think that even if he's not interested, if it was the opposite, where he had a best friend that was a woman, but she was interested, he's not, there are still going to be certain instances where she could make a move and like that puts him in a situation. Or even if that isn't the case, there's going to be times where you are going to go through rough patches in your own relationship, and to have that close of someone who's going to be of the opposite sex that is going to try to be your comforter and try to be your counselor and try to be, that's how.
That's sticky.
Right.
That's sticky.
Messy. I think you just avoid that altogether if you just create some healthy boundaries that are respectful to your relationship. Like certain things should change.
That's sticky. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, there's always ups and downs, and sometimes those downs are deep valleys. And when someone does console you as a best friend, those boundaries could get crossed. There could be some very human moments that are unacceptable to even a damaged relationship. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. Any relationship. Those
lines can be blurred like in a moment.
Right. But I would assume that the woman that I date has the will enough to prevent anything from happening. That would still be my assumption. Because I would never give up the belief in who I chose to be my other half.
Oh, I agree with that. But like you said, we are all human.
Yeah.
And there are It does, like, no one is just without flaw. And so if you have a moment of weakness,
Ooh, nah, I got you.
then you're literally making an opportunity for something to happen. That was a good question.
That was a great question. That might have been the best opener we've had so far.
Maybe.
Well done. Well done.
Now here we go again with your significant other's opposite sex friend, not a best friend, but a friend who's the opposite sex. They grew up together and they call them their sibling. Like, oh, it's like my sister. Oh, it's like my brother. Yeah. But they're over visiting you guys one night. And during a drinking game, you find out that they slept together years ago. So what happens next?
They're going to stop calling each other brother and sister. That's for damn sure.
Also, how do you feel about that relationship now that you found out that information?
There's definitely deceit. You don't have sex with your brother and sister. And y'all grew up together, which means there was a time period where friends, and then there was also a time period where you were not friends. And if you go back to just being friends, that's perfectly fine. But there's also the idea that if it happened once, it can happen again. And if it's happened once, it's easier to happen a second, third, fourth, and fifth time. So that vulnerability that we just spoke about, that deep valley, when it happens, that he might be the person that you console, you know? Or if it was me, I trust that person. They know me since they know parts of me that I probably don't even know about myself. If I was to console them, I might have a human moment, and I don't think that's okay. It's like holding part of the truth. And then that part of the truth that's withheld becomes the seed. And then that seed is now blossoming, and you're not knowing that this poisonous plant is growing in your environment. A conversation is going to be held, and it depends on how deep I am into that relationship. If we're rooted, I'm not going to uproot my family. Because personally, how I feel, if I'm married to somebody and we have children, it's not about our relationship. It's about our children. I don't care what the scenario is, our children will always come first. So I might have to shake the ego and drop the pride a little bit and be like, it's in the past, it happened. I'm going to still be hurt. I'm going to be like, nah, we straight inside. Mama.
Okay, so what if there weren't kids involved? Then that would be it for you? You would cut the relationship based off of that lack of honesty? And what if the argument was like, why would I just bring it up out of nowhere and tell you? You never asked. You know,
I don't know. It depends on how much I like that person, how much of a future I see with that person. So I'm not going to say the logic in me was like, yeah, I'm good. We're going to go in the opposite direction. But the human in me is just like, it depends. You know, I'm a bit torn. I'm a very logical person, but I know if I was in a situation, it would definitely be a dense battle, a dense internal battle. The Montez on this shoulder would be like, bro, get out. Because it's not just, if she's willing to hide that, what else is she hiding? But then the emotional side is like, you built so much with this woman. You built so much trust, and that one thing should not a sword in that body of trust. I'm not answering. Y'all can argue with me in the comments.
I think for me, it's actually more about what happens moving forward than it was in that moment. I would feel betrayed. I would feel like there's definitely like a breach in our trust now because of that lack of honesty. But I think it would matter more to me like what the next step would be moving forward. Like I would expect that relationship could not be maybe what it's been or what it was. Like I would feel some type of way about that relationship, about them being super close and how much they see each other or talk or whatever. Like I would be like, there needs to be a pretty strong boundary there in order for me to feel like I can still trust you.
Yeah, typically I think about the future. If I choose to trust that person from that point forward, the logic in me would be like, do what you feel is best. But just know your actions will have very dense
consequences.
Yes. I'm not going to give them an ultimatum. I don't do well with ultimatums, and I don't want to put
I don't think it would be an ultimatum. It would be more so, all right, cool. Now that I know that, I'm gonna keep my eyes open.
Right.
You know, like you keep watch and you see what they're gonna do. You don't tell them what they can't do, but you're just like, all right, cool.
I don't want anybody walking on eggshells either, though, because that will refrain them from being human. I want it to be natural, but if the interaction is naturally friendly, I'll be comfortable. But if it's not, if it's like that, oh my God, laughing at stupid ass jokes that's not actually funny, or putting the hands on the legs, and it's like, oh my God, that's so no, bro. What are you doing? Because if I was to do that with somebody else, it would be an issue for sure. And I don't do double standards.
As you shouldn't. It would really matter to me, like moving forward, which relationship do they value more, or which one are they going to respect more? Like, are they going to care more about like that being, a certain way, or are they going to, and then you'll see where you really are on their priority list, or,
very true.
All right. Your significant other wants to invite their ex to your wedding. Is this out of the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Are we talking about, like, we're not talking about puppy love. We're not talking about like middle school, high school ex. If that's, I don't care. But like, we talking about y'all was dating for years? For what?
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Is that like, am I being unreasonable actually? I don't know. Like, I don't know if, is that a super, I don't care if it's an emotional answer, but is it an emotional answer?
I mean, it's not a logical answer. So
I think it is logical though, because.
Well, the logic, I mean, the truth of the matter is you're marrying that person.
Right.
And they just want to invite someone to the wedding.
That's too simple, because it's not just someone. You don't just, that's like saying, oh, we're picking out tables. We're going to put this person that hates this other person at the same table. That's just, that I can't, nah. It's like you're throwing a party and you're inviting people to a party that aren't a part of the group. Like, why? Like, it's just a potential to cause animosity. The logic behind, for me, is like, you're not taking all of the steps to make sure that there isn't a problem. This is supposed to be an environment of joy for everybody. I get that it's about the bride, but it's not all about the bride.
Well, I actually fully agree. I would never, I would be like, oh no. But I'm saying.
We agree, people.
But I think some people might disagree with that and say, like, you should be perfectly fine with it because that was in the past and this is the future and this is the,
but people that talk like that, they're not speaking they're speaking because it's the right thing to say. It's not actually, I don't think it's actually what they believe, because it was, the tables were reversed. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to invite my ex-fiance to our wedding. Exactly. No, then everything is exact. No. I don't do double standards.
Also, my thing would be, what's the purpose? Like, why are you trying to, is it like you're trying to get them jealous? Are you literally using like, I don't know. There's so many reasons.
That's like power play you're talking about.
I'm saying, like, that does happen. You've seen, well, in movies, it happens. You see, like, oh, I'm going to invite my ex and they're going to get jealous. They would have stuck with me, like, you just wonder, like, what would the motivation be behind that? Unless it's, or
the past
what?
Isn't just the past.
Right. Then it's still
Fair
like
point.
A part of, so it's really like the meaning behind it, I think.
Fair point.
All right. Well, we agree on that. Your best friend tells you that they accidentally kissed your significant other. Well, you were all like out at the bar one night, or maybe you were even like at someone's house. It doesn't matter, but you were all hanging out one night and they said they accidentally kissed your person. What ensues after that conversation?
Kissing is not like driving. You don't get into accidents. When people are like, I was accidentally human. No, you were yourself. There was some type of like urge to make that thing happen. And again, that may be a power play. I don't know. But also, my friendships are built on trust. I don't think this would ever happen. But if it did, we gonna throw hands. I'm not even gonna sit here and act like we're not gonna throw hands. The chances that we'll be cool afterwards is actually pretty high, but they gonna catch hands.
And what's gonna happen with your relationship?
We're probably done. Cause that's my best friend. I'm picturing my best friend, by the way. Like, I'm picturing my closest friends, like Alex's, the Mark Champs, the Brandons, the Namdis, the Dans, like those type of people. Like, if Kevin De Bruyne was to kiss anybody that I've ever dated, it would probably be an issue. Like, it's not like we don't cross swords. It's not how it works. And I'm not talking about LA dating. I'm talking about like we were in a relationship the world knows kind of thing. Unless somebody comes to me and they have the conversation, oh, I want to date this person. And then it's like, oh, we had that conversation. All right, cool. Then we know. But like an accidental thing. First of all, my friend, I don't drink. I've never tasted alcohol before. So my friends don't have this like unconscious slip up. Typically, it's not like that doesn't happen. It takes two to tango. So my girl would also have to be in a scenario where they're in the same spot, public or non-public, and it happened. She's cut. He's catching a jab at minimum.
Man, if that happened to me, there would be a huge breach of trust with my best friend for sure. I would be like, oh, okay, cool. So that's our friendship. Like it would, what?
Why do you go to the friend first? Because the male is typically the pursuant.
It doesn't matter. Like, my best friend should have my best interest in mind. And she's most likely been in my life for years.
What if it was like one of these things, like, oh yeah, talking to the bartender, oh yeah, it turns and he's just there and it's like one of those, like, oh, what the, like one of those type of things.
That is not what this is talking
I know,
about.
but what if it was? Would you be mad at your friend?
No, that's a real actual accident.
Would you uppercut your significant other? Would he bang? It's a quick one. Like bang, bang. No? Okay. No. Peace at all times.
No, I wouldn't get into a physical fight. I'm not a man. That's not how I fight.
So I'm not a man. Women get into altercations as well.
I know, but it's not usually physical.
Yeah.
So.
De-escalation by use of words is always better.
Exactly. So I think I would maybe think twice about having her around. Like, I don't know. It would take, like, I don't really know, honestly. And I think it would change our friendship. I think you would be able to tell if it was a real accident or if she felt guilty and she like had to tell you because maybe it was a little more than that,
Yeah.
So I think I would have to read that aspect of it and then figure out from there, like how I felt about it. As far as my relationship, it would just really depend on the situation. All right. Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
You found out that your significant other still regularly keeps in touch with an ex. Does this bother you? Or is this an issue?
It depends on what they're keeping in contact. Like if they're just like catching up and shooting the shit, you're allowed to be friends. Like I'm not controlling your past and I'm not controlling your present. I'm not controlling your future. If my girlfriend decides that she wants to express herself in a certain way, express yourself. But understand that it has an effect on our relationship. And you don't get to decide necessarily what that effect is. So I don't mind the conversation with whoever, as long as they understand the situation, as long as you understand the situation. And it's openly communicated. But if they're talking about like, oh yeah, I want to go on vacations and stuff like, exactly. I mean, I'm just building the scenarios. If they decide that they want to go on vacation together, just like a catch up. I'll even go as far as to say they want to start a business together, not where one's helping the other and the other's helping them, but they want to start a business together. I don't think that that's actually okay, because now you're spending a lot of dedicated time with that person and that could rekindle some things. You're like, hell no.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm really, really good. I'm like, you have fun with that and good luck and have a great life.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, that's a respect thing. You have a history with that person. You probably loved that person at one time. Maybe you were in love with that person. You probably saw a future with that person. Maybe you wanted to marry that person. And now you're still keeping in touch like routinely. Like that means they still have a piece of your heart that you haven't like, you haven't cut it off. And I don't think that having ties of your heart like with all these people is going to be healthy for your current relationship that you are now pursuing or that you're in.
So there's two things there. That's the idea that love is limited.
Oh no, you can love them from afar, but there's no reason why you should continue to fuel that flame. Like for what purpose? You're just going to continue to give that love to that person? Or do you think and you think that
But that's the idea that person is only meant to be a good person to specific people, not that they're actually a good person.
No, it's choosing who you're going to invest your time into and who you're investing your heart into. It's different. You can still love someone. You can be there if they an emergency or they call, but like to just be like, oh, how was your day? Oh, what are you doing this? Like, oh, no, that's not respectful. That's not.
And
that's
that
not
was the
honoring.
second part is like the definition, is it disrespect? Because we go to this range of like, if it's not respect, it's disrespect. And this whole area in between is just non-existent. And I don't support that idea. Is like only the extremes exist. Also, if that person is a good person and it's like they reach out and they need something, is that person not supposed to be like, oh, I just need to talk? Oh, let's talk. What's going on? Because that's casual conversation. But for me, like I understand
is that casual though? I need to talk to you. Be my person.
I need to talk to someone.
Right.
And you're the best person I know that I can talk to.
That's not your person anymore. That like they can go elsewhere for that.
Right. So they have to, their idea is like they're only meant to be good to specific people. That
has nothing to do with being good. It's called like honor. You honor the person that you're with in the place that like you honor that relationship over. Otherwise, you are literally saying this other past relationship is more important to me than the one that I have now. Because I'm willing to open up myself, give my time to this person, give my thoughts, give my insight, give my wisdom as they're seeking counsel or they want to like Yeah.
What is the problem with that? So it's like it's literally just bestowing information so that person can get over a hurdle.
Information. Okay, this person is someone that you've slept with. This is someone that you've most likely,
yes.
and that you've loved and that you have a connection with, that you have built.
Had a connection with, not have. So
Then they're still like, they feel comfortable enough to call you on something like, oh, I'm having an issue with this. Like, be my hero. That's like that whole hero mentality. Like that's like a real thing. Like, oh, save me. Oh, I need you.
So that sounds like we're still in the gray area. There's a boundary that can be set, but you're going on the extreme end of like, this person is obsessed with just this guy or just this girl.
No, I don't think that. Like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with being obsessed. It's called healthy boundaries, honoring and respect. To me, that's what it is.
So then where's the healthy boundary of control? Because, all right, so say...
No, like, again, I'm not going to say you can't do that, but if you choose to do that, then I know where we stand. And I know where, like, that just shows me, like, where we rank on your priorities or on, like, what you...
We just watched a video on this.
That is different.
How?
That was about her dying, and she needed, like, he was a doctor. She's like, how do I... like,
she needed help. At a baseline, this girl hit this person up and was like...
Okay. So yeah, if we're going to get into specifics here, if it was something that was life-threatening.
That's why I've said the gray area.
Okay, right. So there's levels.
Even if it's not just life-threatening is what was my
right,
point.
but if it's like, oh, I need dating advice. Oh, something's not, like my relationship.
She's talking about her relationship.
Wow. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
We might have to, because I like, my whole thing is trust. I'll explain it like this. If you're in a relationship and there are communicative restraints, so you've verbally had restraints on what is allowed to happen in a relationship. Do you think that has the potential to limit the growth of the relationship? Or if there's complete freedom and there is a strong bond and choice, that you have free range to either go into the negative dark area or you have a free range to explore complete elation between you two? Which one do you think is better, I guess? Like
I said, I don't think it has anything to do with restraint. I don't think you would tell someone, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Like the words you were using are very stern. I think it would be more so, hey, this is how I feel when you do this. I don't appreciate it. I feel dishonored. I feel whatever. It's still your choice. But if you do choose...
consequences
then
for your
there's
going
to be consequences for your choices.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If that is like a regular thing and they just want to be every woman's hero and all their exes, like that's the person that they go to for all their emotional support.
But that's not what we're saying. You're talking in the extreme again.
Right. Like I said.
So let's get out of the extreme. This person is not going directly to him every single time, whether it's a problem or not a problem. All right, so here's a perfect situation. Someone is now a pastor, and their ex goes to them, is like, can I pray with you? But they go to this pastor every single time when they can go to any other pastor. Is that a problem for you if you're married to this pastor?
You would not be praying with her one-on-one, that's for sure. But you know what?
I think my point is made.
I mean, even my pastor back home says that he will not meet with a woman one-on-one alone in his office ever with the door shut. Like, well, it'll be open and there will always be another woman present.
That's to protect him.
Yeah, and his marriage. And he that's like a healthy boundary that he's laid. Like, he's like, I'm a human too. And he said, I'm not going to say that I could never have a human moment, which means I'll never put myself in a position in which I could have a human moment. I will always
protect himself. I respect that. But if they're on the phone,
he doesn't do that, period.
That's that. I'm not talking about. We're talking about a hypothetical situation. Yeah. And she always calls this man. Because my mind was not that they were meeting up. My mind was that she was coming to him in text or in call. Like, to have every single, like, can you pray with me? I had this happen today. And every single day they're chatting. No. That's okay. All right. That's okay. I think my point is proven.
What is the point?
Is that there is no gray area. It's just no. There's no communication. For you, it's just, that is a restraint.
You just said every single day, that is an extreme.
Right, I took your extreme. And then you still said, even if there's not in person, and it's a pastor who dedicates his entire life.
Yeah, there are like thousands of pastors you can go to. If you keep going to,
I think my point is proven.
Yeah. So if that was the case for you, you'd be fine with it? If your wife was a pastor?
I'm not restraining anybody from doing what they want to do.
Right. I'm not saying you would tell her not to. But I'm saying, like, you would be okay with it. You would just continue.
I would trust her that she's going to make it. Takes two. It always takes two.
Right. Well, you know what? We'll get into that in another episode. Okay. That one was. Okay. Okay. Have you ever blown up someone's phone before? Like where they weren't responsive? Maybe you called them multiple times in a row, or you texted them. And
What we talking about multiple times in a row?
I'm talking like you just kept calling and it was just
As
like
in,
going to
more
voicemail.
More than 4 times?
Yes.
No.
And
ever,
what
ever.
was...
Actually, maybe at work. I used to work in tech sales. And if I needed to get a hold of somebody, my literal mission was to get them on the phone. So I would call once, and this might be a sales tactic that you guys can use later on, but I would call once and I would hang up in the middle of the ring, and I would call right back because they don't know who the number is coming from. I mean, it could be the school calling about their children. It could be doctor's office. It could be anybody. But if they call back twice, typically I'm like, oh wait, that's not a scam. And then I wait 10 minutes and I will literally call back again. I won't leave a voicemail. Yes.
Right. This is in the context of a relationship.
Oh, I'm trying to build that relationship.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Dating goes very hand in hand with sales. But no, the answer for me, absolutely not. I would never. I'm never that pressed. But I had somebody in college that me and my friends call Michael Jordan. She called me 23 times. She just got my number that night. She called me 23 times in the span of 12 minutes. It was absolutely wild. And I know my friends at Cornell who are going to be watching this, they're going to know exactly who that person is. I'm not going to put them on blast, but...
Did you ever call that girl back?
Hell no. What?
Exactly.
No. She was very intoxicated. I will give her that.
So when you gave her your number in the first place, you definitely didn't know like that was going to happen.
I was in the party for a span of maybe 30 minutes. I like to dance, so we was dancing, not with her, but we were dancing. I had practice the next morning, so I was ready to leave. As I was leaving, she like came up to me, grabbed me, and was like, "Hey, blah blah blah." I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. Just take my number." I go to RPCC, which is where we grab our late night food before we go back to our dorms and crash. As I'm ordering, I get a call. I don't know what the number is. I hang up. It keeps calling, but I can't answer because I'm ordering. And then at that point, I got it like, it was up to like 12 times. And I was like, what is happening? Then I get a text message, but I don't read the text message. And then it keeps texts come, calls come, texts come, call come. I don't remember checking social media, so I don't know if I actually got a message on social media, but I know that it was 23 calls. I would never, no. No one's getting that from me.
I have done it, but it was, no, but not for the reason you would think. It was out of like safety. Like it wasn't like a million times, but it was thinking something had happened, like a car accident.
Was it a guy?
Yeah. It wasn't like we were in a fight, like something was happening. But I was like genuinely worried, and I ended up contacting his brother, I think, or like some other, just being like, I'm pretty sure something might have happened. Why is that such an issue?
Because it's how it's perceived. It's not just how you feel. Because if they're receiving it and nothing goes wrong, she's like, damn, this girl is absolutely dramatic. Because whether you call once or whether you call 10 times, they see the call. It's all going into the same little box and category. They're going to know to call back. So the same, in my opinion, the emphasis of having 2 calls or 3 calls back to back as somebody that you know is the same of having 30.
It's not.
In terms of the point that you're trying to get in contact with them, yes, it is. The only service it'll do is making you seem crazy between 3 and 30. So just don't do it. Just do 3.
Okay. A man is dating 2 women. He lies to one about this, but he's honest with the other. Which relationship does he value more?
Oh my God. I had this extreme argument with my boy, Alex. So me, I don't lie. Just don't lie. It actually got to the point where I understood the other side. Like completely through and through. That he was joking at first, but then it got serious. If you really love me and you cheat on me, don't let me find out. Like go to the ends of the earth not to let me find out. I was like, bro, that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, ever. You're a smart guy, but in this moment, you're like bottom 10 in terms of intelligence on the planet. We got into it. He's a very intelligent guy. But by the end of it, I actually understood protection, saving what was yours. But at no point do I agree with lying. Do your thing. If you're going to date multiple women, that's a lot of weight on your shoulders. But don't lie about it. A community, I mean, we want to talk about this from a business stance. A community is a lot stronger than a single unit. Like if you're an individual, you can get more accomplished with a group. But that's still a lot of weight to bear. Just tell the truth. I would have to say that he values the relationship of trust more because I'm I'm definitely I'd rather just communicate. That's my answer. But Alex,
he's really getting shouted out today,
bruh.
He's getting called.
Bro, that's my right hand through anything, bro. For real, that's my rider. But he makes me think differently. I just don't. I don't agree with that. But I understand how somebody could go down that path from a logical standpoint. Because he's a logical person as well.
Wait, I already forgot the question. To be honest.
If he's dating 2 women, but he tells one.
Oh, right. No, I've gone back and forth between this one a lot because I automatically would go with, well, of course, the one that he's told the truth to, because to me, trust is the foundation of any relationship ever in life, like the actual foundation. If you don't have trust, then what do you have? You have a good time with that person, maybe you enjoy their company, but trust is like the foundation that's laid in order to build something that's going to like last, or that's going to be, so that's but talking to, again, also other friends, they were saying, oh, but he's trying to protect the other woman from being hurt. And so I understand that, but I'm still for sure going to have to go with the one that you're being truthful to is the one that you value more, because the one that you're lying to, she doesn't feel bad, like you're keeping her in the dark. It's still not. Yeah.
And this is based on the scenario, people, because for me, there's a range of what I consider value. You don't value the relationship as much if you're dispersing your time, not necessarily love, but your time, because as a human being, you're still finite. That doesn't mean love is finite. Keeping this secret is a full-time job.
All right, yeah, we're gonna cut it off there, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Jam Session number 3, and be sure to turn into Jam Session number 4. We're gonna talk a little bit about cheating. What is cheating? What would you do if you got cheated on? Have you ever cheated? Those kind of questions. So that'll be a fun one, and we'll see you then.
That's gonna be fun.